Hello, you guys. This is January 2025, and I am on a mission and a goal to start this podcast. I was called to do this podcast many months ago, and it has been a challenge, but it's been a good challenge. It's been starting the new year off and just it's been hard between being sick and trying to get the things that I need to do to set up this podcast. But this is the whole point of this podcast, you guys, is being introduced to the chaos, the challenges that we face, not only as women, business owners, moms, but this new year, I just really wanted to find the imperfect moms. So if you think that you're perfect and you think that your life is perfect, then you can't be a part of this podcast. Um, this podcast is designed for women entrepreneurs, women moms. It's designed for us as women to learn about this chaos that we have. And it's okay not to be perfect. And it's okay not to have things go right, as my golden retriever takes off with one of my labels. This is my chaos. Um, but no, I wanted to start this podcast and as a way to connect to other women. Um, to be able to just get real. So this is a real podcast. You're going to see, those of you watching on the video, you're going to see just the chaos around me between my animals or my kids coming downstairs or my mistakes on this podcast. I may edit a little bit, but my goal is to be real. That is my goal. We need to be more real and genuine as ourselves and be okay with the chaoticness, be okay with our mistakes, be okay with just not being perfect. That's me. I'm not a perfect person, and I'm okay with that because that's who I am. So let's get started in the podcast. I do have notes just because I have ADHD and my brain likes to go all over the place. Speaking of which, I'm going to grab a pen. Me, not being perfect, not being 100% authentic, like being just myself. And you will see my golden retrievers from time to time that you guys when I'm recording. So this is Goldie. She is my little precious golden retriever that likes her paw held. She's had a litter of 15 puppies. So she's a good mommy. Okay. So I'm just going to stick to my notes, but I'm going to follow along and I'm going to be real because this is what we're going to talk about. I may go off sidetracked a little bit. That's okay. So welcome to beautiful, amazing you. This is been an adventure and how I even got to this point of wanting to start my own podcast. See, this is the label she took off with, a couple labels from my products. My name is Kimberly, and I'm a business owner. I run multiple businesses. I love marketing. I love being involved in helping other businesses succeed, businesses growing, giving ideas. I have, as you can hear from the intro, I have quite the animals here and family, but welcome. Let's get started. So the new year, we always start off with expectations. We start off with this long to-do list of all these New Year's resolutions that we're going to do. And, I've learned over the years that I don't make New Year's resolutions. I make goals, and they're goals that are reachable. They're goals that I don't make them so big that I can't reach them, then I'm setting up myself for that disappointment. So when I set up my goals and my expectations, I set little ones, medium ones, and then the bigger ones because I want to be able to reach them, because I want to be able to pat myself on the back if I did reach that little goal. And that little goal can be something so simple as to drinking more water, right? And if you can reach that goal, then that's a win for you. So starting off this new year, when you're thinking about your goals, then think about how you're going to set them up for success. How are you going to set yourself up for success in your business, in your daily walk with yourself, um, your daily walk with Christ? How are you going to set up your goals? It can be for anything, business, your personal goals. Set them up for your success. Um, how it's gone for me so far is it's I've set up goals and I'm still working on my goals, but I have been sick for the last 2 months. All this crud that is going around that everybody is getting, where it's that cough and you're tired and your nose is congested. I've had it for 2 months and it has just killed me because I am so far behind. I was supposed to have all these podcasts recorded and it was supposed to be already put in, my podcast, and people were waiting for me. And it kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back because I could not stop coughing enough to do a podcast. So here I am. I'm finally doing it. So I apologize if I'm still coughing, but reality is that I needed to complete this and I wanted to do this. So I want to jump into the expectations that we put on ourselves. What are the expectations that we are hard on ourselves? Do we expect to get, this done, this done, this done? It's like a long to-do list. And how are we going to complete that long to-do list? Are we setting ourselves up for failure to complete this long to-do list that you are wanting to get done that day? Or do you have it spread out for the week? What expectations are you putting on yourself? So really think about like the expectations that you can put on yourself that are healthy, that are good, that will help you grow. And those expectations for yourself are setting you up for the joy that you are going to accomplish those. Learning to find grace in all this, learning to find ourselves, to giving ourselves grace. So again, being sick and I've had this long to-do list and feeling overwhelmed and I'm not able to complete, half the things on my list because I'm so drained with energy from being sick and coughing. Learning to give myself grace has been huge this year because I needed to slow down. Maybe this was something that, God was telling me to slow down a little bit and to take some things away for me to plan and prepare for not only this podcast, but to get into writing. I have always enjoyed writing and I have started writing more because I've had things taken away from me. And was I upset at first? Yes. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, why are you doing this? Like, this is my bread and butter. My business has been so slow. But in reality, like me being a Christian, I've really watched like him giving me time for doing other things that I want to do and that I've enjoyed doing. I've enjoyed writing. I've started a journal, and the writing has turned more and more into material for a future book. So I'm excited. So, learning to give ourselves grace in the midst of the chaoticness, in the midst of our goals that we're trying to put together that may have not come smoothly together, giving yourself grace and then setting a time frame for achieving those goals. So again, if you have goals set, put in place for the new year and you started your goals and some of these goals, you are like, hey, no, I need to get this done at the end of the month. How much pressure are you putting on yourself? What if you have obstacles that go in the way of those goals? Those obstacles are actually good obstacles. I always say obstacles are a way for us to stop and to grab our attention and to rethink. And I've had to really learn that over the years. I'm a lot older now and I've learned how to see those obstacles as opportunities of learning. So give yourself that time frame for your goals. Where are you at for your goals? What are you making them achievable? and giving yourself a time frame. It can be, like I said, anywhere from a month, it could be to a 2 years, it could be a 5 year goal. But having those goals put in place and having them for times so that you can work towards them. And if those goals, like I said, don't come out to the time frame that you're wanting, it is okay. Readjust those goals, readjust your time. It is okay. Um, I am a visual person, and that's another reason why I wanted to do the video is because I am a visual person. And I know there's other people out there that are visual. So they like to see the person, they like to see what's in front of them. Um, Seeing your goals, drawing them out. I'm huge on doing that. So one thing that I like to do, and those that are watching and jumping on to my social media platforms or my YouTube channel, I like to draw out my goals. So, do you remember how back in kindergarten and in first grade and elementary and probably even in middle school, we would always draw and we'd start off with, and I don't know if you can see this. Let me see if I can grab a darker marker. Grab a permanent marker. Okay, so do you remember how we would draw the circle and then we would put down the topic of what we're doing? So what I like to do is start off and have, and I should have started this more on the top part and worked our way down. So um, you could draw circles like this and then put your goals in them. So my goal this year was my podcast, to starting my podcast. Um, my other goals is to be able to allow more time for me to be creative. I love being creative, and I've never allowed myself enough time to be creative. So, time for creativity. So that's a goal. So your goals don't have to necessarily be business goals. They can be integrated with your personal goals. Another one with my business goal for me is to be in more wholesale. So I really wanted to focus on wholesale for my natural products. I'm the owner of Pure Evergreen, and it's a natural cleaner that I started, and then from there I've branched out with natural, sustainable products. So my goal is to get into more wholesale places. Another one is I wanted to focus on more adventure. So for me, adventure looks like for quality time for myself, for my husband, for my kids is to seek out, like, have fun and adventures, go do different things, camping, exploring new places. So this is kind of the setup I have. So those of you that are listening, I have 4 circles, and you can choose how many goals you want to set in place. And actually, I would have moved them up higher in the page. Make those goals, and then do you remember how we did the little spider thing where you branched off? So you can do the same with your circles. So I'm drawing lines connected. They kind of look like little space, like little UFOs at this point, or spiders. I should draw heads on them. Um, so you can kind of see, those of you watching, I have my circles and I have podcast, time for creativity, hustle, and adventure. So for my podcast goal, I have my little lines down. So what am I going to do is I'm going to branch off on that goal for my podcast. And what do I want? What do I want for my podcast? One of my goals is to be able to be on a lot of platforms. So I'm going to write down platforms. And my goal for that and my time frame for that is going to be 1 year. Okay, my second one for my podcast is to get donations, because running a podcast is expensive and I don't get paid for my time, but I truly enjoy, this is what I'm supposed to do. And I wanted to share the love and share the imperfections and my craziness and wisdom that has been given to me. So I would love to be able to get donations. Another one is sponsorship for people who do want to sponsor me. Um, so I'm writing that down. So you can see how I branched off. And like I said, I should have done it on the top of the page. So when you make your diagram, and I can make one of these to start off with, and you can print it and download it, like download and print it, and then you can fill it in. Or you can get your piece of paper and you can do this yourself and add for them, and then put your time underneath it. And then how are you going to branch off on your platform so you can even go even further? So like for me, my podcast platform, I could put down the places that I want to be in. For my donations, I can say, this is where I want to be for my donations in a year. How am I going to get those donations? So I'm going to branch off on my donation part, and I'm going to expand. So we talked about expanding on your goals. So this is kind of the setup for your goals. So drawing a visual diagram and seeing your goals, putting it in a spot where you can see it on a daily basis is important, because when we see stuff that is in our face, it's going to be a reminder. Have people to hold you accountable. Have friends that are being like, hey, can you hold me accountable for this one particular goal? This is how you can hold me accountable. So let them be clear in your expectations on how they can hold you accountable for that goal. One thing is, when things don't go as planned, it's okay to make adjustments and be flexible. Being flexible is so important, because we can be like, no, I need it this way. It didn't go, it was wrong. It didn't happen this way. I could tell you countless times and stories that things didn't go my way. Things didn't happen the way I wanted it to. Another reason why I started this podcast, because things changed, things happened, and I was upset at first and I was hurt and crushed, but it was meant to be something different. It was meant for me to grow and do this. And things didn't go as planned, but now they are, and it's for a purpose. The purpose is happening. So being flexible with your goals, being flexible when things don't go as planned. Look at it like an opportunity for growth. Look at it as an opportunity for change that maybe is healthy, or even look at it as a way for, like, that wasn't meant for you, and that is a roadblock and it's directing you into something else. So that goes to my second, like my last few, is being open to change. Being open to change is so important, because we can hold off and be like, no, I don't want this change. I don't want this change. I love change, and I'm probably one of the very few people that love change. But for me, I've always looked, even as a teenager, I've always looked at change as growth. Change is good. Change is growth. Change helps develop for who you are. Pardon me again, water. Change is Being open to that change is important for a healthy you. And pardon me. Just being open to that change can open up doors and opportunities. Can you imagine if you never were open to change, and how many doors that were opening up to you, or how many opportunities that passed you by because you weren't open up to that change? So really be thinking about what changes need to be made and what changes are coming to you that could be opportunities for growth. Um, and then really think about, for me, and whether you are a believer or not, and you'll hear me talk about this off and on in in my podcast, but what is God's purpose for you? What is And a lot of people are saying, well, what is the universe's purpose for you? For me, is what is God's purpose for me? What is God's purpose for you? What does He want for you in your life? And are you willing to listen? Are you willing to open up to the possibilities in having His purpose for you? So be thinking about that today as you guys go up on your day, and the challenges you may face. As for me, being sick and coughing through my podcast, I apologize, but it is what it is. I couldn't put off doing the podcast anymore to be at this point. Um, And as you can see, just to throw this in here, so I was gonna hold off even longer to do this podcast because I was like, I need more of a cozy place. I need to paint. I need to like set up the furniture and make it my vision. And I still have this vision. I still have this vision, but it's gonna take a little bit of time. Um, and so as you can see, I paint colors behind my wall. So the vision will come together and it will be time, but I'm not going to put my podcast on hold because I have so many people waiting for it. So think about today, where are you at with your goals and your expectations? And are you ready to make that change? Are you ready to accept that change and being open to all the new possibilities? Are you willing to accept that you are not perfect, that we are filled with a world of chaos and we are going to make mistakes and we are not perfect, but we are accepting for who we are as a person and how we are growing and how we're always wanting to do better for ourselves. How can you give back to the community? My name's Kimberly. You guys, thank you for joining. Please be sure to follow me on social media. Be sure to follow me on my podcast so you know when new podcasts are coming out. And share this with somebody you think that might needed this today. And I am so appreciative of you joining me for my first podcast and through my coughing and sickness and all. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful day.